Hi, and welcome back to the Charlie Star YouTube channel, or if you're listening to this on my podcast, welcome back to the Charlie Star podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the transits for the month of October, first for everyone collectively, and then we'll get into the forecast for each and every sign. I am your host, Charlie Star, and I am an astrologer and YouTube reader, and you can book a reading with me at charliestar.com. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the collective reading. What do we have going on for the month of October? Okay, so we have the Sun is in Libra and stays in Libra until the 23rd, when it and Venus both move from Libra into Scorpio. Also, we do have Mercury has just gone out of retrograde. Yay, went out of retrograde right at the beginning of October. So like just around the cusp of like the first day of October, Mercury stations stationary and starts to go direct in the sign of Virgo. So then on the 10th, which is right near the full moon in Aries, which is happening on the 9th or the 10th, depending on your location, then Mercury moves into Libra. And then what we do have also is we have Mars is in Gemini going direct for the entirety of the month up until the 30th when it begins to go retrograde. So Mars is in its pre-shadow all month. What that means is that essentially the degrees that Mars is going through right now in Gemini are the same degrees that Mars will be going over again when Mars goes retrograde. So where we are putting our focus and our energy for this month, if you feel like you haven't, gotten through everything that you need to pertaining to that by the end of the month, don't worry, because as soon as November starts, or actually as soon as the end of October gets here, right before Halloween on the 30th, then Mars will begin to go back over those same degrees. So we'll have plenty of time to deal with the things that we're dealing with right now. So I hope that's good news for you guys and not bad news, because Mars is going to be in Gemini until the rest of the year. Okay, what else do we have going on? So we have Jupiter. We do have some events going on with Jupiter. Jupiter is right now going retrograde through the sign of Aries. And then at the very end of the month, on the 27th, then Jupiter returns back into the sign Pisces, where it was earlier. And so it's going retrograde, but it's going retrograde back into Pisces. We do have all the outer planets that are in retrograde. I know a lot of people freak out on the internet about this all the time, but honestly, you guys, the outer planets go into retrograde every single year. This is normal. This happens like basically every fall, every summer, and end of summer, beginning of fall. This is the part of the year that the outer planets go retrograde because they're so far away from our planet. Okay, so the first part of the month, basically before the full moon in Aries, we're still focusing a lot on Virgo topics because we still have Mercury and Virgo here, and it's still like a lot of focus on healing and on health and on our daily habits and routines. So we're very much, even though we're going forward with it, we're not in retrograde anymore. Mercury's out of retrograde. We are moving forward with a plan. It's like the first 10 days of October, like we have a plan and we're moving forward with it. Okay, and that can feel really, really good. It can feel really productive. It can feel like we are making headway on the health and lifestyle changes that we have, decided to implement during the retrograde period. If you started a new relationship, this feels like working through, the first part of your relationship in a very effective way. So I would say that's kind of like the focus of the first 10 days of October leading up to the full moon, is like we're very much focused on our health, we're very much focused on our habits, and we're also focused on our relationships, and we're taking forward motion in those directions. We do have Jupiter still in Aries for this part too, though it's in retrograde. So Jupiter being in retrograde in Aries, it's like we are simultaneously, Aries representing the goals and the ambitions that we are having, and Jupiter expanding and blessing those topics. So we're making a lot of like productive headway with our goals, but we're also in review because Jupiter is also retrograde. So we are simultaneously reviewing our goals and making headway on them at the same time, which is kind of exciting. And also for these first 10 days with Mercury in Virgo, we're being very critical of these goals. We're being very analytical about how we're implementing these things because they feel important. That's what I'm getting, is that the things that we're doing right now, they feel really, really important. Okay, so then for the middle bulk of October, I would say, we have a lot of things in Libra. We have the Sun in Libra, we have Mercury in Libra, we have Venus in Libra, and we do have a very exciting, I will say, conjunction with Venus and the Sun on, I think, the 23rd. Yes, on the 23rd. So this is really interesting as we prepare for Scorpio season, which also happens on the 23rd. Okay, so what we're being prepared for is Scorpio season and Jupiter going back into Pisces. We are going deeper into things. I'm hearing like a lot of research. Okay, Scorpio does have to do with research. There's a lot of going more thorough is also what I'm hearing. It's like we are taking these new projects, these new goals, this new direction, and we're wanting to fully integrate it. And it's not just a matter of like, oh, we want to have the information. Yes, we want to have the information, but we also, there's a lot of information that we want to uncover and that we want to learn at this time, but it's also that we want to like deeply understand. We want to really, really integrate whatever it is that we're learning, wherever direction it is that we're going. We want to integrate it very much so into who we are, into our psyche, into our habits, into our skill set, whatever area of your life this is touching. This is a period of integration, and it can feel very like quiet. One thing that I have heard too also with the month of October is that we will be making changes, but the changes are soft. Okay, so leading up to Scorpio, like up until the 23rd, like the changes that we're making in our life are happening very softly. There's a lot of sextiles, there's a lot of trines. These are like harmonious aspects where things are flowing more smoothly. The headway that we're making is not so painful right now. And that is really, really good. It's like we are healing from the past in order to move forward. And that forward motion feels really, really, really good. It feels really, really good. So I will say that. That a lot of the challenges this month will feel softer. They won't feel so harsh. And I think that has partly to do with Venus and being in Venus's sign of Libra. This is the sign of humanity and coming together and, you know, loving another human being. This is about harmony. This is about peace. This is softer around the edges. So also at the end of the month, when we're heading into Scorpio season, a lot of people are going to be more reclusive, leaning in towards the Scorpio season at the end of the month. People are going to be more turning in, more focused on their personal stuff, more focused on what's going on inside of them and what's going on like amongst, like, I'm hearing like personal aspects of your life. So, you know, whatever that is for you, your family, your spirituality, your mental health, whatever it is, we're focusing more inward, and we're not going to be so loud about it like on media. We're not going to be so social. We're not going to be like that interested in getting together with like groups of people is not really going to be like the focus right now. But the thing that I do think is really, really important with Libra season, especially coming out of the Mercury retrograde, is that it's like, especially with, and I noticed this was like so beautiful, with Venus going into conjunction with the Sun in Libra, and then Venus is also doing some cool stuff with the full moons and the new moons too, which I'll get into with the full moon and new moon video. But Venus going exact conjunct with the Sun in Libra, and then immediately taking that leap into Scorpio. It's like I saw like the Queen and the King like holding hands and like diving into the deep end together. And I really do think that a lot of this whole Mercury retrograde in Libra that we experienced last month, and a lot of Jupiter going into Pisces, and basically a lot of what we're experiencing this month has to do with, like, on a collective basis, the desire to go deeper and learn more and to expand our consciousness and to grow as human beings and as as a collective like world, we're desiring to do it, and it's like the universe is like, wait, don't go alone. Like, make sure that you're with somebody else. Make sure that you're with somebody who's leading you or somebody who's going down that same path with you. It feels very protective from the universe. It's like, don't just look for the expansion of yourself. Don't just look for the advancement of your own knowledge. Like, join hands with somebody. Do this together. We need to come together. We need to build connection. We need to realize that we're all in this together and that we're all on the same planet and we're all actually part of like, it's up to us, like the future of our planet and the future of what our species is going to experience on this earth is not going to be pretty if we don't do it together. And with everything going through Libra, it's like, it's not starting with a group, it's starting with just like another person, or just a handful of people that you're getting to know and inviting into your life on more of a deeper basis. So it's building that trust, it's healing from the past in order to be able to have those kinds of relationships so that we can move forward. Jupiter retrograding back into Pisces is reminding us that I'm hearing that it's keeping us from getting cocky, okay? Because Jupiter in Aries is so confident, it's so ambitious, and it's so single-minded that we've made a lot of headway with Jupiter in Aries. Then Jupiter going back into Pisces, this is the sign where everything dissolves and things become fuzzy around the edges. And with so many things going through Libra, it's really encouraging us to not, like, again, like, not go it alone and not to think that we have all the answers, and to listen to other people. And in listening to other people and softening ourselves up to them, we arrive at a greater truth. Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, and Jupiter is really, really allowed to like expand here to really open up our understanding and our consciousness of things to the point where we can more fully understand the universe and how the universe works and understand each other. We can become more compassionate towards other people because we have softened ourselves up around the edges, because we've genuinely listened to other people, and we've recognized that, hey, maybe we don't have all the answers all by our little selves. So that is just a little snippet of what Jupiter in Pisces is going to be bringing to us towards the end of the month. I am considering doing a whole video on Jupiter in Pisces because it is Jupiter is going to be in Pisces until December 20th of this year, 2022. We'll see. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into what the month is going to look like for each individual sign. So I do encourage you to watch the video for your rising sign. However, if you don't know what time you were born, watch the video for your sun sign. One thing that is a little known fact about Western astrology, which is the type of astrology that I practice and most people practice in the United States, apart from Vedic astrology, is that originally the birth chart was calculated without knowing what exact time somebody was born. And so the rising time was actually the time that the sun rose on that day. So birth charts were calculated based on the sunrise, the rising sign, the sunrise time of the birthday. So if you don't know what time you were born, you can simply look up what time sunrise was at the location where you were born on your birthday and use that as your rising sign. It's going to be your sun sign, okay? So I'll spare you the details. Okay, Aries, what's going on for you for the month of October? Pardon me while I look at my notes a little, because I do have a lot of transits written down for you guys. So the first part of the month, the 1st through the 9th, there's a lot that's true about the collective reading that will be true for you. You guys are really focused at the first part of the month on like building your relationships, developing bonds with other people, and also implementing habits and lifestyle changes, especially as possibly pertains to your schedules, your work schedules, your diet, exercise regime, and your health in general. So there's a lot of forward motion with that. Also with Jupiter being in Aries, your first house, there is like a lot that you're digesting right now. It's like you're making forward motion, and it can feel really good. But it also can feel like just on the brink of overwhelming, because there's just so much that you are like absorbing right now and trying to like integrate and process. So be gentle with yourselves during the first 10 days, I would say, of October. So then on the 9th, we have a full moon in Aries. You guys are like the stars of this full moon. I'll do a separate full moon video, but for the full moon, it's in conjunction with Chiron, and it's in, of course, opposition with the sun, as full moons always are, and the sun's in conjunction with Venus in Libra, your 7th house. So what's happening at the full moon on the 9th is that essentially you are having a wound from your childhood that's like exposed. And you know, it might not even be from your childhood, but it's just an unhealed aspect of you that's still kind of painful and still kind of hurts. And there's somebody else, this is a Venus aspect, that's seeing it, and it's a really good, they're helping you through it. Like they're holding your hand, and they might not be doing anything other than just listening to you being vulnerable and telling them about it. But it's just a good reminder that like just having somebody else there and having somebody see you and be like, I see you, that is healing in and of itself. So then we do have the first major transit for you guys is on the 11th. So we have Mars in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces, which is your 12th house and then your 3rd house. So what's happening here is I wrote down that you're fighting yourself. Okay, so Neptune going through your 12th house, there's a lot that's dissolving when it comes to your private life and your private beliefs. And that can be really, really hard. It's kind of like, it's giving me like a very much of like a scrambling energy. It's like you're scrambling because it's kind of scary to have a lot of things sort of like shatter and fall apart when it comes to your safe haven of the mind, your mental health, and your way that you protect and guard yourself against the world on a private level, the way that you create structure for yourself and for your, in order to function in reality. This all seems to be challenged at this time, and it's kind of like you're being really like verbally hard on yourself, potentially. This is the 11th, October 11th. You may be, tempted to be really harsh on yourself or be fighting what's happening for you on the inside. So just be cognizant of that. Then after that, we have on the 17th, we have the sun in Libra is trining Mars in Gemini. So what this is giving me is that I said, okay, so someone is recognizing your perspective and your voice, and they're like acknowledging your efforts. So this can feel really, really good. It's like somebody sees you and they're like, I see you and I actually hear what it is you're trying to say. Because it's the sun, sometimes the sun indicates authority figures and recognition from authority figures. So that recognition, especially like of your perspective and something that you've been, I'm hearing like, thank you. That's what I've been trying to say. And it's like they get it at this time. So then I have on the 18th, just the next day, we have Venus. Oh, wow. So we have Venus in Libra is also trining Mars in Gemini. So this is, what did I write down for that? This is agreement with someone possibly pertaining to money. So if you are in a partnership, if you're in a relationship, this is probably you and a partner like agreeing on how to spend your finances. Another thing is that you guys could be agreeing upon like a necessary change, or it can also be that there is a really good alignment when it comes to your sex life. So that's also, I would say, like a very positive day for you guys. Then we also have, then next we have the new moon. Okay, so the new moon is happening on the 25th. It's a new moon in Scorpio, conjunct Venus. There's not a lot aspecting this moon. It's in a loose square with Pluto in Capricorn. But what I'm getting for you guys, because this is your 8th house, there's a lot of sexual energy involved here. Like I'm hearing sexual power and just tapping into your sense of power when it comes to like what you have that you know nobody else has, whether that's like knowledge, information, charisma, like this is like a moment for you guys to like really just like step into your own inner authority and be like, I am a powerful being. So it's giving me like a lot of that energy where you are it can be healing for some of you guys with Venus here, but for a lot of you guys with Venus here, this is talking about sexual energy, and this is talking about the divine feminine and feminine power and feminine energy. And so this is a really good time to get in touch with your feminine power, if that's something that resonates with you. Okay, so then at last we have Mercury in Libra trining Mars in Gemini. And okay, so I wrote, you're advocating for yourself, knowing you are backed by others. So this month is really going to be like really supportive for you. Of course, this all depends on like how you interact, but this whole month there's just like immense opportunity for you guys to like deepen your bonds with other people, to like listen to other people and understand, you know, their perspective. I think you guys, I'm hearing surprise. I think you guys may be very surprised at what you find. It can be like the assumptions that you think that, you know, the things that you like think that you know about other people and think that you understand about their perspective. I'm hearing a lot of you guys don't. So try and check those assumptions at the door and like listen to other people a lot this month. I think you'll just be like, so it's like your mind will just be blown at some of the things that you learn. So yeah, so at this moment, on the 26th, there's an opportunity here for you to be having done all of this connecting with other people and feeling actually much more supported by it, to advocate for yourself. And you're advocating for yourself in a way that's coming from a new sense of strength, and that strength is feeling like backed and understood by other people. So that's it for the month of October. I hope you guys really take advantage of this, because it seems like it could be a really good month for you guys. Taurus, what does the month of October have in store for you? Okay, so the first part of the month when we are in Libra season, that is going to be your 6th house. And the 6th house, I have a feeling that for a lot of you guys, there's a lot to do with health issues this month. And you're really like battling. I'm hearing that some of you are fighting for your life. There's a lot of toxicity that has been built up potentially like in your body that you guys have tolerated for so long that at this point it's kind of like, I'm hearing that it's too much for you guys. Like you have been so hard on yourself mentally, that there isn't anything that you can do at this point to cure the physical manifestation of what you're experiencing. Sorry, that's a really hard message that's coming to me. But with so many of the transits that I was looking at for you guys this month, that is a lot. That was a message I definitely had to get out there. Is that it's too late. This is so terrible. It's too late. This is what I'm hearing. It's too late. And you just need to honestly like forgive the past because you did the best that you could. Okay? I need you guys to know that this month, that you have done the very best that you could. Okay? Okay, with that being said, that probably wasn't a message for necessarily everybody, but if it is for you, then you know. We do have a few important transits here. So on the 1st of October, right away, we have Venus is in an opposition with Jupiter. Venus is in your 6th house and Jupiter is in the 12th house. So there's a huge energy I'm hearing that you're like screaming at yourself at this point. Like, unkindly. There's a possibility here that you are being very unkind towards yourself, but it's interesting because the way that you're perceiving it, it feels like God is mad at you. So God is not mad at you, you are mad at you. That's what I'm hearing here. Jupiter has to do with the God element, the and the 12th house has to do with where we contact our higher selves and also our own mental health and mental health processes. And what I'm getting with this is that you are trying to work through something and you feel like God is angry, and God is not angry. That's you being angry at you, okay? So that's the 1st of October. And then we have we have a full moon in Aries, and that is happening on October 9th. And the full moon in Aries is in your 12th house. So there's a conjunction that the moon is having with Chiron. This is a wound that has not healed. So with this moon in conjunction with Chiron in your 12th house, this is you letting go of something. You're saying, I'm done. Please, God, tell me that you're done beating yourself up. That's what I'm hoping is happening at this full moon. It does look like you are done fighting something. You're done arguing. You're done fighting. And with it, you're letting go of, I'm hearing like your understanding of something. Your need to understand something. So, yeah, Chiron has to do with the wounded healer. So there's an aspect of your life to where you've been giving to other people, potentially to like your own depletion of your own like mental reservoir. And that may be something that is ending for some of you guys at this full moon. There is the sun in conjunction with Venus coming from your 6th house. There can be somebody else that's also like helping you right now. They're coming to your aid, they're assisting you, and that can feel very healing. Okay, so then we do also, like, so what's next? So then on the 11th, we have Venus in Libra trining Saturn in Aquarius. So what's happening for you at work or wherever it is that you give the most to the world on this day, the 11th, is meant to be, and most likely this is either a commitment or this is like, it's like a commitment you've already made, I should say, or it is a slowing down or a stopping of something that you have overspent yourself in. So I feel like what I'm feeling like is that on this day, like whatever happens to you in regards to how you've been giving of yourself to others, particularly with work, you're being given this day kind of like to rest and to just know that you're like at the right place. Okay, so then on the 18th, we have Venus in Libra trined Mars. And Mars, for you guys, is in your 2nd house. So There's an increase in self-worth on this day due to a level of recognition. And that level of recognition can be financial compensation. This can be words from a boss at work, or just somebody that you value, somebody whose opinion you really respect. Is kind of like noticing you and your efforts, and it's really kind of like giving you like a little pump to your self-esteem. So that is much needed, I would say, for you guys. Okay, and so then the big events that are happening for you guys is on the 22nd, we have Venus goes into an exact conjunction with the Sun. And then on the 23rd, the very next day, both the Sun and Venus go into Scorpio. 3 days later, we have a new moon. This is your time to shine. That's what I'm hearing. A lot of you guys are able to step into the spotlight on this day, the 22nd. Okay? And it's like you're stepping into the spotlight. I'm hearing like divine ascension, authority. Okay, so a lot of the time, like when Venus or your ruling planet goes into a conjunction with the Sun, you can take on like the characteristics of the Sun, to where like for the Sun is not only generous and life-giving and warm, but the Sun is also a somebody who takes on a lot of responsibility, and somebody who somebody who's responsible. So you may be taking on a new responsibility at this time, and then you're going to go like immediately go and like dig into, like be kind of like thrown into a new world where you're like learning about these things that are part of your new set of responsibilities. Some of you may be deciding to invest with somebody else. That's another thing that I'm hearing. So then on the 25th, we have a new moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is your 7th house of partnerships. And the Sun is still in conjunction with Venus at this time. So this can be a new relationship that you're taking on. I heard a child, so it can be like a responsibility that you're taking on to a child. It can also be a responsibility you're taking on towards another person. In some way, shape, or form, you're going deeper with another person than you have before. And that can be where the level of responsibility is coming through, where you feel like you have some type of responsibility to go deeper with this person. And that subjectively can be good for you or not good for you. So use your own discretion, because I always feel like I gotta look out for you Taurus risings, because like you guys are so generous and giving to other people, and I think sometimes that's to your detriment. So I'm hoping, this looks like it's a positive new beginning. I'm just wanting you to be aware of your own mental needs, your own emotional needs throughout this month, because it does look like those things have been depleted in the past. So having you take on these new responsibilities towards other people, just make sure that they're the right people, that they're people that are going to advocate for you and help you prioritize yourself in the process. Hey Gemini, what's going on? I'm sure you guys are feeling really jazzed with Mars going through your first house. I can feel that some of you are like, well, I'm feeling a little stressed with Mars going through my first house, which understandable. Mars is going through your first house this month, and will go back all the way back through the same degrees that it's going through this month into the next month. So there's going to hold on tight, because there's going to be a lot of energy that you guys are feeling. I really want you guys to focus on channeling that energy into something that you find meaningful and productive, because Mars here really wants you to do that. The other thing too is that you need to bring balance to that energy by cooling your body off with really soothing activities. Okay, so a lot of basically a lot of yin needs to balance out the yang that is being channeled through you right now. Okay, so what's going on more specifically for you guys? We do have the first 10 days of the month. There's more of a focus on your fourth house, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of work that you guys are doing at on the home. Some of you guys may be doing like home repairs, home remodels, like that kinds of things towards your home. There is a lot of progress that you're making in this area, whereas opposed to like last month, there wasn't as much. It seemed like there was a lot of things that would come up in this area of your life that needed to be like revisited or addressed, and it might have felt really frustrating. It's gonna feel better this time for this next 10 days of the month. You're gonna feel more progress happening in this area. You do have the Sun and Venus going through the fifth house, and then towards the end of the month, moving on towards the sixth house. So the fifth house is going to be focused more on this area of your life, which is children and also dating and also any creative projects that you guys have. So this is an area of your life that can become very beautiful. There can be a lot of like harmony and flow, like especially if what you're doing with that fourth house energy with Mercury there is creating something aesthetically pleasing within your own home. This can be a really like creatively productive time for you. So also then as you move into the sixth house, then there's going to be more of a focus on, I would say, there's a focus towards your work. And what I'm hearing is that some of you guys are healers. With Mars going through your first house and Mars being the ruler of both your sixth house and your 11th house, it's like you are very much focused on helping other people, both this month, for the rest of the month, and especially towards the end of this month. So there is that going on as well. Okay, so what's happening for you more specifically with the transits? I did pull up some transits that were important for you guys. So first we have on the 6th of October, we have Mercury trines Pluto. Okay, so there's an agreement here that you guys are like completely agreeing that something needs to like end, needs to be like cut out and cut off. So something's ending and you're like, okay, cool, that's great. Then we have on the 10th, then Mercury enters Libra. So that is when you begin to focus more on the creative projects, more on the children in the home, more on your dating life, and things start to really like potentially really flow for you guys. So it's going to also be like an area that's difficult to keep in balance. So if that's been the case for you in the past, then this is going to be coming up again. Okay, so then we have a full moon in Aries on the 9th. So sorry, I was talking about the 10th. This is happening on the 9th. They're going to be pretty simultaneous. So this full moon in Aries is happening in your 11th house. This has to do with the hopes, dreams, wishes, and aspirations. You're letting go of an ambition or a goal that you had before. With Chiron here, it's like it was actually a painful goal. So it's all's well that ends well, because this thing was never going to help you in the first place. Like this goal that you had, you realize, I'm hearing that you're realizing that it wasn't for yourself, it was for others, which is kind of unlike you, because I'm also hearing that sometimes people are accusing you of only thinking of yourself when it comes to like making plans for yourself, and that's not true. And you letting go of this thing that you thought you wanted, that you're like, okay, maybe I don't really want that anymore. This is actually really, really a good decision that you're making. This is also the house of friendships. So I'm hearing that some of you can be seeing the wounds of a friend at this time, and just having kind of like a compassionate experience of like witnessing their pain, or even maybe you sharing your own pain with somebody. But I'm getting more of the impression that somebody else is sharing with you, and you're being sort of like the sounding board, the person who can like sort of like help them work through it. Okay, so you guys as Gemini risings, you guys are really good listeners. And it sounds like you may be stepping in to be a really good friend at this time. So thank you. Thank you for doing so. Okay, so then after that we have Venus, or sorry, not Venus. Oh, where are we at? Okay, so Mercury on the 12th, Mercury in Libra opposes Jupiter. So what this can feel like is that there's an authority figure that is sort of like saying no to something that you want. The other way that this can play out is that you feel that in light of letting go of whatever it was that you let go of at the full moon, you now have almost like a more daunting task in its place. And that this bigger aspiration, this bigger goal feels like it's almost like too much for you to handle on your own. That's fine. Don't handle it on your own. Get some help. Okay. So if that's the case, that's the message, because this is Libra here. Okay, so then we have Mercury trine Saturn on the 22nd. Saturn is in Aquarius. So Mercury trining Saturn. This is a flow. You are feeling like, yes, the structure that you want to be there is there. So it's there for you. It's kind of like you've been looking for something. You wouldn't be able to create it for yourself, but you're like, ah, it's here. Yes, perfect. Good. This exists. I'm happy. Okay, so then we have then we have a new moon, and the new moon is in Scorpio. So Scorpio for you guys is your 6th house. So this is where you guys go to serve other people, to help other people. And it's important for you guys to have a new moon here, because this is helping you guys to do what it is that you guys do best, which is really to help other people. I mean, you guys are, for the most part, I would say, souls that really, really want to help. And you don't want to just help like by putting a band-aid on it. You guys want to like go deeper. And to have this like new moon here in Scorpio, in conjunction with Venus, it's like you're being empowered to do it, and you may also be having somebody that's helping you do it. So that can be a really lovely thing. Then after the new moon in Scorpio on the 25th, then we have on the 26th, Mercury trines Mars in Gemini. There's agreement and conversation about what's going on at work. And then Mercury squares Pluto on 10/27. So here you're kind of coming up against like a little bit of an obstacle, but if you look at it from a different perspective, this can actually work to your advantage. So a little bit of a problem-solving skills need to be applied here, which is totally fine, because you guys are ruled, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and so you guys do have this problem-solving ability. I know this is typically more of like a Virgo quality, but I think if you guys, especially if you talk it out with somebody, you're going to arrive at a good conclusion for whatever this obstacle is. It's not a big deal. It's just something. And then, so then Mercury enters Scorpio on the 29th, right before Halloween. So at this point, you've already been focused on service towards others, towards work, towards the things that you are doing. Especially, this can be things that you guys are doing for money, but it does really feel like your heart is in it. And now your mind is there too. So, I would say that is it for you guys for the month of October. Okay, Cancer, what do we have going on for you guys for the month of October? Okay, so for the majority of the month of October, the focus is going to be on the home and the mother. And this can be the home of origin, and also it can be the current home as your life as an adult. This is also going to be impacting your 11th house. So there is a focus on your hopes and dreams and wishes for the future, and also the groups of people that you associate with. I'm also thinking this has to do with family too. It's like I'm hearing that the groups of people that you're associating with is your family. So big focus on your family this month. I would say the first 10 days we do have Mercury still in Virgo, and for you guys this is your third house, so there's a lot of problem solving that you're doing with other people, but because Mercury was retrograde in Virgo last month, there was a lot of frustration, a lot of review that had to occur last month. And now you are still working through the kinks, but it seems like obstacles are falling away. You're making a lot more progress. You're getting a lot more done in the first 10 days of October is so much more productive, and that can feel really, really good. To be so much more productive at work, and to have the things that you have been thinking about and things that you have been working on to be practically applying finally in an effective manner. Okay, so that being said, then on the 9th, we have a full moon in Aries. So Aries is your 10th house. So some of you at this full moon may feel like you're disappointed in yourself for what you are not able to give to others. The 10th house has to do with where we make our greatest achievements in life and where we give to other people. And so this also can be the father. I'm hearing for some of you this is the father, and this can be feeling disappointed in the father figure. So that can be painful. There's something painful about this full moon with Chiron here that's being revealed. It's being exposed. And I really, really, really encourage you, Cancer rising, to allow whatever that is to like wash over you and to feel those feelings, because that is going to be the cleansing waters that like allow you to move past this. And it does look like most of you are moving past it, because right at this time, Mercury moves away from moves out of Virgo and moves exactly into Libra. And for you guys, Libra is the 4th house. This is the house of home. This is the house of origin, and this is the house of family. And so there's this focus that is bringing back into balance whatever, and bringing back into a healing aspect, whatever occurred to you with your family, whatever is happening with your family. It needs to be brought back into alignment, back into harmony, back into a peaceful area of your life, depending on your relationship to this area of your life and where Venus is in your own personal birth chart. You have hopes and dreams when it comes to the family unit, and this continues on until then we do have the new moon in Scorpio, which is happening on the 25th. So shortly before that, on the 22nd, Venus goes into a conjunction with the Sun in Libra, and then ingresses into Scorpio, and then immediately we have this new moon. So, okay, so for some of you, this is going to be a bringing together of a whole bunch of parts of your life that like didn't necessarily seem to make sense, but now they're like sort of like tying in. There's like a collaboration that's happening. Either like from a universal perspective, or actually that there are people in your life that are coming together and working through something. Also, what this can be is like, I'm hearing that some of you guys feel a little bit out of control when it comes to your own finances. So with the Sun ruling your 2nd house, it can kind of feel like here that somebody else is like taking the reins, like they're in the seat of authority in your own, like not only your own financial sector, but also in your own family. So whoever it is that you feel like kind of like has that power, it does look like somebody in your family is like stepping into an authority sort of position when it comes to those things. And this is having a big impact on your future and how you like perceive your future moving forward. This isn't a huge aspect, so I don't want you to like blow this too far out of proportion, but this is just kind of how this can feel. And then when it moves into, when they both ingress into Scorpio, Then we do have the new moon in Scorpio that's happening on the 25th. So for you guys, this is in your fifth house. So the fifth house has to do with children and our creative projects, and also with our dating. So this can feel a little bit like elusive. Like this area of your life can maybe feel like challenging or painful in some way, but this new moon is here to tell a different story, because we do have Venus in conjunction with this new moon in your fifth house. So this is something beautiful. What I'm seeing is this is like the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is like hope. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. This is like, I mean, this is really, this can even be a new relationship with Venus being in your fifth house of dating and it being a new moon. Is definitely possible. It feels like the birth of hope, honestly. And it feels like also, as the planets are moving into this house for you, that it's a good omen for the Scorpio season for you in general, that you may actually be brought back together with a loved one, or you may, and I'm not talking about like an ex, I mean, though it could be, I suppose, but I'm just talking about like if there's been like a distance between you and some people that you really care about, like this may be like a really good like healing time for you, like in the last few days of this month and moving into the rest of November. So I hope that is like a hopeful message for you guys. And that's it. Leo, what do we have going on for you for the month of October? So I will say that the first 10 days of the month of October, you are focusing on problem solving. You are really focused on like a lot of things that are going on for you at work, with obstacles that are being pushed through, and that is like a really, really good thing. So for the last part of September, it seemed like there was a lot of things that you were like having to review and having to go back over, and it seems like now these things are like moving forward for you, and things are falling into place, and things are being able to be executed effectively. And so then that brings us to we have a transit of the sun in Libra that is trining Saturn on the 11th. Okay, so what I'm seeing for you guys is that the focus of this month here, being emphasized on the 11th, is essentially that essentially your communication with other people. So it's kind of like the path forward for you guys this month, Leo, is to recognize the influence that you have over other people, because you do have a lot of influence and you do hold a lot of authority, a lot of weight. It's like the words you have really do have a lot of weight in other people's minds, and you really do have the ability to communicate effectively and communicate in a way that reaches a lot of people. One thing that you do need to be careful of this month is like not holding back too much because you're wanting other people to like you or wanting other people to agree with you. So we really do respect your opinion, and a lot of people do respect your opinion, and you have a lot of authority, and you need to use it. You basically need to exercise it this month is what I'm getting a lot of. So to have the sun in trining Aquarius, it's telling me that you are learning the art of being patient with people, because you do really want to help people, and I can see that for you guys. But it's just like that you are learning to just let people be where they're at. And because I'm sensing there can be like a lot of frustration in the past from like people not being further along than they are in like understanding or whatever it is that you're expecting them to grasp, they're not grasping it. So because you have spent a lot of time working on this, Saturn is near the end of Aquarius here, getting ready to go into Pisces. So, well, that's like, you know, at the beginning of next year. But in the long sprint of things, Saturn has been in Aquarius for quite some time, and you're learning to be patient with other people, and this is paying off on this day. Things are going smoothly. So, okay, so then on the 17th, so sorry, then we have a full moon in Aries. And for you guys, Aries is the ninth house. Aries is the 12, 11, 10, 9. Yes, Aries is the ninth house. So on this day, you guys are, I would say that there's something that's being exposed here about your ego that is a little bit painful. And it's not something like a whole bunch of other people are seeing, but there is somebody that is seeing it, and they're responding to you with a lot of love and a lot of compassion. Okay, so then we have on the 17th, the sun is in a trine with Mars. So Mars is transiting through your 11th house. So you are getting like the applause and the support of the people that are around you. At this time, I would say a lot of people are like working hard for you. Okay, so then we have the sun squares Pluto on the 19th. This can be frustrating. You can feel like you don't have enough power to like push through something or to change a situation, and it's okay. That's okay. Another way that this can show itself is that in order to move forward, you have to let go of something, you have to end something, and you might not feel like you're really ready to do that. Again, this is a minor transit. Okay, so then we have on the 22nd, this is a bigger transit for you guys. Bigger, not, it's happened to you before. This isn't the end, this isn't the game changer, but this is a pretty cool transit, I think, because Venus goes into an exact conjunction with the sun, and what's happening here is you guys are essentially taking on the characteristics of Venus. And what I'm feeling for this is like basically you're learning to have more love and more compassion for yourself, and so that you can then exude and give that to other people. So that's a really, really beautiful thing. You may also feel very sexy, very attractive, very beautiful, and you actually are becoming more beautiful to people. So that's pretty great. Immediately on the 23rd, then the sun, both the sun and Venus go into Scorpio. Now this can have an effect where you're like, whoa, like there's you've just been like donned with this new grace, and then now you're being like plunged into the depths where it's like you have to like now go surf through like a area of your life that you may not feel like the most equipped to surf through, which would be like your subconscious, and it could also be like your family. Whatever area it is, I'm feeling that you guys are like, whoa, well, all of a sudden being like thrown into the deep end. But you are more equipped than you used to be when it comes to this area of your life. So you may be able to heal this part of your life. Okay, what else? Then we have a new moon in Scorpio, which is your 4th house. So it looks like somebody in the family is kind of stepping up in their level of responsibility for other people. So that can be nice. This might be you. This might be a family member. This might be somebody else. This could be the father. This could be the mother. So anyway, it looks like they're taking on a sense of responsibility. There may be children that are born at this new moon in Scorpio, because Scorpio, this is your 4th house. That's more like a 5th house thing. I guess I could edit this part out. But so anyway, so then on October 25th, we have a new moon in Scorpio in your 4th house. So this can be that you're welcoming somebody new into your home. This can be that you purchase a home. This can be that you are agreeing or starting a new relationship dynamic with somebody from your past. Okay, so then on, and yeah, and that's pretty much it. Thanks, Leo. Hey Virgo rising, what's up for you guys for October? So what I'm seeing for you guys is that you are going to be becoming increasingly more and more over the month, more feeling ready to express yourselves. So we have Mercury is still transiting through your first house. However, Mercury is now going direct. The retrograde is over. So there's a little bit more forward motion happening here, which is exciting. And it's making you guys feel more productive and more creative. So then well, let's get into the transits. I pulled up some transits for you guys. So then what we have, okay, so on the 6th, we have Mercury trine Pluto. And so it's kind of like you are cleaning. This is what the energy that it's giving me is you're cleaning something off, cleaning something out, sweeping it away, or just like polishing up something that you have, making it clean, fresh, and new again. Then we have on the 10th, we have Mercury goes into Libra. So that is your second house, and it's a place that you like. It's like you guys really like to have nice things, beautiful things, and you also have a relationship to your finances where you generally feel like you need your checkbook to be balanced. Some of you also have a relationship with money to where you like to spend it on other people. You can be very generous with your money, and you can also spend money on things that like make you feel good about yourself, make you feel sexy, beautiful, attractive. So you're entering into, well, the sun's already here, so this is already kind of like a focus for you, and you guys can start to feel really creative at this time. Right before Mercury enters Libra, we do have a full moon in Aries on the 9th. So the full moon in Aries is happening for you guys in your 8th house. The 8th house has to do with sex, transformation. Well, sex sometimes. I would say that's debatable, but it has to do with transformation. This is where we go to in order like to renew ourselves, really. So I also call this the house of the closet house, the house of secrets, the house of things behind closed doors. And this is also shared resources. So to have a full moon here, there is a conjunction with Chiron. So there's a couple different ways that this could play out for you guys, for you Virgo rising. One of the ways that it can play out is that you are sharing a more vulnerable side of yourself with a partner or with a person that you care about. And they are sending you love. They're being supportive of it. So that is one thing that can happen to you at this full moon. So another thing that can happen is that you are the one that is shining the light onto somebody else because somebody is sharing their secrets with you and they're exposing themselves to you and you are loving them. Because this axis is the financial one, so the second house is your own resources, and the 8th house is the shared resources, which is Aries, which is where we're having the full moon. There is an emphasis on an ending or a culmination of investment that you have gone into with somebody else, or the fulfillment or the fruition of something in that sector of your life. So this can be taxes, like a tax return. This can be like student loans, or this can be anything that is shared between you and another person. Unfortunately, it's probably not without sacrifice that you have like invested into this, and if it is coming to a head, it's not I would say it's kind of a mixed result, because it's like there may be a disappointing or even painful result when it comes to that investment. However, with Venus being in conjunction with the sun in your second house, it's almost like you're making off well from a bad deal, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like overall the investment wasn't great, but you actually did kind of well yourself specifically. So that might be a way that this plays out. So anyway, so then you have okay, so then what do we got? So then we have Mercury is now in Libra and in your second house, and Mercury is opposing Jupiter. So Jupiter, like again, this is kind of like it can feel like there's a lot maybe that's being taken from you, like financially from like other people. And you might feel like there's an imbalance of power dynamic here. So you're like maybe advocating for yourself, or somebody is trying to take more than their fair share. These are short transits. These are small transits. I don't want you guys to get like too upset, too worked up. These are not necessarily like big, major, significant things. We do have on the 22nd Mercury trine Saturn. So you are actually working. This is a really good productive day at work. Things are flowing smoothly for you when it comes to productivity and getting things done. Then on the 26th, Mercury trine Mars. And then Mars is in Gemini, your 10th house. So again, things are flowing really well with like projects that you feel are important. And then we have Mercury squares Pluto on the 27th. So there's a little bit of a difficulty moving forward, because it seems like there's what I'm hearing is like a catch-22, or if then, or you in order to get what you want at this time, you might have to like let go of something that you may not really want to let go of, and so then there's a little bit of a stalemate. Okay, so then Mercury enters Scorpio on the 29th, right before Halloween. So we have a new moon as well on the 25th. Sorry, I kind of gave you the transits a little bit out of order at the end there, because I usually put the new moon in there. But we have a new moon in Scorpio on the 25th, and that new moon, that's going to be in your third house, and it's in conjunction with Venus. So what's going on there? So this is unexpected love from, maybe I could even just leave it at that. This is, I'm feeling that this is love coming from an unexpected area. An area that might have been painful, or you might have given up on. And it's like this can be, I'm not talking about necessarily like a relationship. I'm just talking about like, you didn't expect to be loved there. That's what I'm hearing. It's like you didn't expect somebody to love you at that part of you. You thought that part of you was unlovable. And this could be a really beautiful moment where somebody loves you there. I will say that. So overall, Virgo rising, I would say that this is a month where there's a big focus for you on your finances and your relationships pertaining to your finances. There's also some to do with how to negotiate with other people when it comes to priorities. Okay, Libra, what up? This month obviously has a lot of your energy in it, as we're still in Libra season, and so happy birthday to some of you guys. If you haven't had your birthday yet, then your birthday is coming up soon. So let's get into what this month has for you guys. So I did pull up some important transits specifically for Libra, with your ruler being Venus. It's all Venus transits. So we have a Venus in Libra transit that's opposing Jupiter in Aries. So this is fun. So it can feel like somebody who has more power in the relationship than you is coming for you. That's how this can feel a little bit on the first, like there's somebody that's just a little bit out to get you and it's not a fair power dynamic, and that can really get under your skin, Libra. So just be wary of that. Then we have a full moon in Aries coming up on the 9th. And this is in conjunction with Chiron, and the sun is also in conjunction with the sun at this time. So shedding a lot of light on the healing of our wounds. For you guys, of course, this is in your 7th house. It looks like you're being there for somebody right now. Like, there's something that's painful that somebody you know has been going through, and maybe you didn't know they were going through it, but it's kind of made them a little bit difficult maybe to be around or to interact with, and it's like they're telling you the truth about themselves at this full moon, and you're like, oh, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. And it's kind of like the end of that difficult part of your relationship with them. It's like from then on you feel like you can understand them better. I'll do a whole nother video about the full moon. So then after that, we have on the 11th, Venus in Libra trines Saturn in Aquarius. So for you guys, that would be your 5th house. Okay, so I feel like you're telling somebody no. Like, somebody's wanting something from you, like whether they want to date you or they want to like do some creative project with you, and you're actually saying, you know, maybe not. Like, maybe not. Like, alternatively, you know, somebody else is saying no to you, and that can be a little bit like not fun. But either way, there's an opportunity here for you to go into a scenario where there's a possibility of something happening in this sector of your life, and the answer is like, wait, sorry, like, not yet, or, you know, that's a boundary. So then we have on the 18th, Venus in Libra is in a trine with Mars in Gemini. And Mars in Gemini for you guys, Libra. Sorry, I'm all like disoriented. Okay, this is your 9th house. Okay, so this is a really, really good day for learning. Mars is in your 9th house, and this has to do with higher education and learning. Mars is going to be here till the end of the year. So it's giving me like this message that you guys are spending a lot of you guys are taking a course, or you're learning something that is going to help you in the future. And at this time, it's just like a really, really good day to like absorb that information. I do want to just like put it out there that Mars is going to come back to this transit, this degree for you guys next month. So whatever it is that you're learning right now, you're going to be able to review again. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to like make sure that you memorize all the details. Use this time to like get an outline of what it is that you're learning. Then we have on the 19th, we have Venus squares Pluto in your 4th house. This can be a frustrating aspect because it's kind of like you want to return home, but there isn't a home for you to return to, or you want to return home, but you know, there's trouble at home, or you want to go back to some place that's safe, but it seems like that space is like not available for you, or it's not available for you anymore, or it's just under so much turmoil that it's just not your safe space at the moment. So that's kind of how that can feel. I just want you to encourage you to like find other places that that are safe for you. Like, so for example, you guys are well positioned to have, I would say, good friends and partners, even if your home life is kind of rough right now. Okay, so then we have, okay, so then on the 22nd of October, we have Venus going into an exact conjunction with the Sun before moving into Scorpio. So this can manifest in one of two ways or both. So the first way I see this playing out for some of you is that your perspective on life is under a evolutionary process right now, and you're beginning to realize the world is kind of actually more beautiful than you thought, which this like that's really awesome. But you are it's encouraging you to dig deeper into yourself. And so when Venus goes into conjunction with the Sun in your first house, you feel like empowered to take that deeper look inward and to find your own sense of self-worth in that. So then the second way, the other way that's for some of you this will play out, is that you are taking on an additional responsibility, and that is impacting your finances. It's impacting your finances in a good way, but it can also feel that you're a little bit more vulnerable or a little bit more like on display than you exactly wanted to be. But anyway, you're taking on this responsibility. It's probably a responsibility towards somebody else, or it's a responsibility at work, because this is, like I said, impacting your finances. And this is causing you to go deeper into like learning the skills that you have in order to like make money. Okay, Scorpio, what do we have going on for you guys for the month of October? Well, first of all, I will say that there's a heavy focus this month when it comes to your mental health, when it comes to your relationship to your spirit allies, to your deities, to yourself, because the 12th house is where we go to be alone. Towards the beginning of the month, we do still have Mercury going through your 11th house. And what is happening here is that you're beginning to implement information that you have recently been learning into the physical, into the practical. You're at least thinking about it, right? Mercury is the mental capacity. So you're pondering the information that you're receiving, and you're trying to figure out how to apply it. You're also you're also thinking a lot about your tribe and the people that you identify with. Okay, so that's the first 10 days of the month. Then we have for you a full moon in Aries on the 9th. This full moon is in conjunction with Chiron. So Chiron is the wounded healer, and this is talking about a painful part in your life that is stemming from the way that others have taken from you in the past, and they've taken from you in a way that's like raw, and that it's like they're taking from you out of a place that you don't even have anything to give. Like you've been completely empty there in that part of your life, and then people are trying to take from you even still. So this part of your life, it's not a new wound. This is an old wound. This is something that you've carried for a really, really long time. And at this full moon, there is healing that's coming to you from the other side. This can even be learning to, I'm hearing that for a lot of you guys this month is about learning self-love and about learning to have compassion for yourself, because what's really holding you back, Scorpio rising, of moving forward, you have your chart's ruler in your 8th house of transformation. I can see that you guys are working really, really hard on yourselves. You guys are really wanting to step forward, to move forward, to change your lives. And that's what's so admirable about Scorpio rising. Anybody with Mars as their chart ruler, you guys are so ambitious and so forward thinking, I will say, aggressive towards what needs to happen. You guys are not afraid of change, and you're working really hard for it. And this month is all about like the necessary step. What I'm hearing for you guys, the necessary step for you guys in October in order to move forward and make all those changes that you want is you have to address the way that you have been treating yourself. You have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to be compassionate towards yourself. and that it's okay to step back and take a break. Okay, so that's what I'm really hearing for you guys for this month. If you do contact your higher self, your spirit allies, your deities, your ancestors, this is a huge month for that contact, because the 12th house is all of those things. So yeah, anyway, that just came to me just now. But so then we do have also, so on the 11th, so 2 days after this full moon in Aries, we do have Mars and Gemini in a square with Neptune in the 5th house. There's something that you guys are wanting to get rid of from the 5th house. This has to do with your creative projects and your dating relationships. And Mars here is saying, don't do it. Wait, stop, hold on. So don't be so hasty about getting rid of whatever this is. I know you guys are so like quick to cleanse, to detox from things that you think are no longer serving you, you know, and this is really, really great thing about you guys. But in this instance, on this day, October 11th, hold it, like hold back, because you don't need to get rid of this. Don't be so quick. Okay, so then we have the Sun in Libra in your 12th house is in a trine with Mars in your 8th house. So this is recognition from an inner authority figure. So like I said, God, deities, spirit allies, ancestors, or even your higher self. It's your own mental health. You're looking at yourself and you're recognizing how hard that you have been working. And you're recognizing all the information that you've been gathering, and you are really being seen, and that can feel really good. You guys really need this right now. So then on the 18th, the next day, we have Venus. It's the same aspect. We have Venus trining Mars in your 8th house. So this is a little bit different because it's Venus. So what we have here is an agreement that you are making with a partner, with a person, because Venus also rules your 7th house of partnerships. So again, this can be a spirit ally, because you know, the 7th house is also about just any significant relationship that we have. But you're making an agreement, okay? So this agreement that you're entering into, I mean, it's not necessarily contractual. It could be like a contract, but it's more like you're agreeing with somebody else about something, and whatever it is that you're agreeing on, you feel 100% about it. You feel like fully in. It's not like anything that anybody's forcing you to do or that you're making a compromise about. This is like 100% yes, we're on the same page, golden ticket, let's go. Then I have 1026. We have Mercury in Libra is trining Mars in your 8th house. I'm sorry, I skipped over the new moon. I'll come back to that. Actually, no, I'll do that right now. So the new moon is happening in your 1st house in Scorpio. It's in conjunction with Venus. So it's like you've been spending all this time alone. You've been spending all this time gathering information about yourself, learning to slow down and love yourself. And at this new moon, it's absolutely gorgeous for you guys, because it's like you're stepping forward in your power in a way that you've never experienced before. This is in conjunction with Venus on your ascendant, new moon beginnings. Bam, you guys are like stepping forward in like this divine like sexual power, okay? And this power can have to do with what you know that you didn't know before, okay? That's all I'll say about the new moon for you guys. So then the day after the new moon, towards the end of the month, we do have a trine happening from Mercury in Libra to Mars in Gemini. Okay, so now that you've stepped forward in power, it's like when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. So that's what's happening for you guys after this new moon, is that immediately as you are beginning this new chapter in your life, you are getting somebody who is going to be like helping, like teaching you what it is that you need to know. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys for October. Okay, Sagittarius, what's going on for you guys for the month of October? Well, it looks like at the beginning of the month, like the first 10 days, you're doing a lot of thinking about work, and you're also thinking about how people are perceiving you, kind of like what is your reputation in the world? How do people see you at work? You really want to be looked at as like the smart guy, the technical guy. And that's kind of like what you're focusing on, is like how to problem solve and apply things in the physical world at work for about the first 10 days. You're also analyzing like how what you're doing for work is fitting into your relationships. So then moving on to I would say that also the first day there is an opposition between Jupiter in Aries and Venus in Libra. So right now, on this day, it looks like, and around this day, it looks like you are sticking up for yourself. When it comes to what it is that makes you happy, what it is that really like drives you and gets you excited, gets you out of bed in the morning. This can be very recreational. This can have to do with sports. This can have to do with your dating or your children. This is coming from the fifth house, which is a very creative house. So it's kind of like you're super excited about something, and you're feeling like there is somebody in the friendship sector of your life, somebody who's in your tribe, in your circle, that is actually most likely supporting you and coming together with you. And this can feel like really, really great. They might feel like they're coming at it from like a little bit of a different perspective. I would say, this is being thrown at me just now, that be careful that they may be seeming, there's a little bit like it's not exactly what it seems. Like either they seem to be really supportive and they may feel two ways about it that they're not showing you, or they're seeming like they're coming against you, and that's not actually the case. They're actually supporting you. They're actually with you on this. So a chance for a little bit of miscommunication on this day. Mercury is going to be stationed stationary, I suppose you could say, coming out of retrograde, ending retrograde. And sometimes on this day, Mercury, like the effect on our communication can be a little bit hazy, a little bit like whirlwindy. Okay, so then we have on the 9th, we have a full moon in Aries. So again, this is your fifth house. This is the house I was just describing. So full moons have to do with culmination and fulfillment. So there's something here that it looks like you are is being exposed. This is in conjunction with Chiron. So this could be like a sports injury is the first thing that's like popping into my head. This can also be like a victory. So like you have made a effort towards something and you've achieved it, and now you're celebrating it, or now it's finished. But you might not exactly feel like celebrating because of the Chiron conjunction here. So that's why I was saying sports injury. It doesn't have to be a physical injury. It can be that, you know, something emotionally raw is being like exposed at this time. So again, it does look like coming from the friendship sector of your life, and maybe even the romantic sector of your life, that you are being loved and supported throughout this process. Okay, so then we have the middle part of the month. You are basically focusing on moving forward. So it's very future focused, and you're also very heavily considering how it is that what you want for your life moving forward, how do other people fit in with that? And you may also be planning a future with another person. So it's not just what do I want and how is somebody else going to fit, but it's also like how am I and this person going to like plan our future together. So you're definitely focused on looking forward for the middle bulk of this month. So I would say like from the 10th to the new till the 23rd. Okay, so then on the 23rd, we have Venus goes into a conjunction with the Sun, and they move in Libra on, I think, the 22nd, and then they hop together into Scorpio on the 23rd. So, and what's happening here for you guys? So it's like somebody in your relationship is stepping into a seat of authority. So somebody who you're with, it seems like they have taken on a new level of responsibility, and you're just witnessing that. You're like, oh wow, okay, like you're kind of respecting it, I would say. Then you have a new moon in Scorpio, and I have to tell you that your guys' chart ruler Jupiter is moving into Pisces immediately following this new moon. So this new moon is in conjunction with Venus, and it's in your 12th house. And for you, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like it looks like something is majorly ending for you. I don't know if this could potentially be a relationship that is ending. I know that new moons typically have to do with beginnings, but for you, it's in the 12th house, and there's Scorpio here, and then you have Jupiter that's about to move into Pisces. So this can be a new beginning for you, but I would say that it's kind of like a mixed bag here where you're ending something which is also a new beginning. So if I'm making myself clear, there's a new beginning here that's being symbolized, but it can feel like the ending of something, the ending of a relationship, most likely with somebody, or the ending of, it can also be like the ending and the beginning of something that's happening for yourself on a deeply personal, private level, because the 12th house is where we go to be alone. It is where we go to let things go. And it is where we go to contact our other side, the higher self, the deceased, the ancestors, the deities. This is our mental health. This is the way that we speak to ourselves. So all of these things are under revolution. And it does feel, it feels like there is something very deep, something that is maybe not necessarily like understood on a fully conscious level, that is sort of like evolving under the surface here. So let's talk about Jupiter going into Pisces. This is happening on the 29th, so it's at the very end of the month. But Jupiter was in Pisces earlier this year. Jupiter goes through about 2 signs per year and retrogrades back into one of them. So for example, like this year, it's Aries and Pisces. Last year, it was Pisces and Aquarius. So it's going back into Pisces, and it's going to be in Pisces until, I believe, December 20th of this year, 2022. Whatever happened to you back when Jupiter was in Pisces earlier, this is coming back to the surface and is going to be under review again. This is your 4th house. This is the house of home, and this is the house of the mother and the family of origin. And this is also the home that you have now. So what this can feel very good, but also like things are sinking at the same time. So I'm sensing a lot of change for you guys, Sagittarius rising. You may be moving, you may be losing your home, leaving your home. You may be like expanding your definition of home, expanding the home. There's a lot of things that can be happening for you. It does feel personal. I will say this feels very personal. Jupiter is the king of this home. So I would say that you guys actually have a lot of power in this area of your life. So I don't want you to feel like victims, because a lot of the time Pisces is a sign of victim, the sign of the victim. So, you guys are the king of this house, though, with being Jupiter ruled. So you have a lot more power in this area of your life than you think. So that's what I want to tell you about that. But we can get more into that with the next month, with November, because this is happening on the 29th. And that would be it for Sagittarius. Capricorn rising. What does October have in store for you? Okay, so overall, it looks like it's going to be a really good month for you guys. We do have 3 important transits that are happening to your chart ruler, Saturn, and they're all happening from the 10th house in Libra. So it looks like you are being acknowledged and recognized a lot for the skills that you bring to the table, for your creativity, for your responsibility, for your efforts, for your grace. So a lot of things are being like finally acknowledged. I want to say you guys have had Saturn transiting through your second house of finances and self-worth for quite some time, and that can be a difficult transit. It can make some of you guys struggle in the financial department. It can make some of you guys really have to reckon with where you derive your sense of self-worth. We do have, and so for some of you also, sorry, this transit is also affecting your like group associations and the way that you identify with a tribe or with a group of people. So what I do have for you, Capricorn, is we have on the first, I would say the first 10 days of the month, we do have Mercury going through your ninth house. And there's a lot that you guys are doing that where you're thinking about your health habits, how you've been taking care of yourself in the past. Mercury is going direct through Virgo. Mercury was going retrograde through Virgo at the last part of September. So whatever it is that you were mentally reviewing at this time, you are moving forward with, and you are effectively putting into practice the new habits and new choices that you have decided to go with in September. So then we do have a full moon in Aries on the 9th. So for you guys, this is in your 4th house of home, and this also has to do with the mother. So it looks like something's ending here, and it's kind of painful because there's a conjunction with Chiron. So for some of you, this can be the sale of a childhood home that is like it doesn't actually feel, it seems like there's a wound there that hasn't actually been healed, but you are finishing something up in this area of your life. And then for some of you, this can be something to do with the mother that is culminating or ending. That's really all I'm getting with this full moon for you guys. I will do a full moon video going into that more specifically. Then we do have shortly thereafter on the 11th, the sun in Libra, and your 10th is in a trine with your chart ruler Saturn in the 2nd. What's happening? It looks like somebody, an authority figure, is recognizing the amount of work and the amount of value that you bring. So that can feel really good. Then similar aspect on the 13th, we have Venus in Libra, which is aspecting the same Saturn in your 2nd house. So it looks like somebody who's important to you on a personal level is again recognizing your value, your skill set, and the things that you bring to the table. So again, acknowledgement. And then also on the 22nd, we have Mercury transiting through Libra and aspecting, again, Saturn in your 2nd house. So this can be verbal praise or affirmation coming to you from somebody that you respect, somebody whose opinion you care about. Okay, so then we have a, what happens on the 22nd, is that the same day? Yeah, on the same day, on the 22nd, we have Venus going into an exact conjunction with the sun in Libra. Okay, what this looks like to me is that it looks like you are taking up a new level of responsibility that you are getting a lot of recognition for. So this could be like a promotion, this could be a new job, this can be, it could be just a new set of like responsibilities. And this can also be that if you work in the artistic sector, that your artistry is being in the spotlight. A lot of that is happening this month. So then immediately the sun and Venus move into Scorpio. So it's like you're having a lot of success and a lot of recognition, and I'm hearing that there's like more safety as well coming to you, more stability that you guys have really been needing for quite some time. And now it's like immediately plunging you into the depths that you were not really willing to like face before, because you didn't feel like you had that safety, that stability, that like that level of security that you really needed before you went deeper into the things that you wanted. It's almost like you didn't feel like you could go into the things that you really wanted because you needed to first think about, the hierarchy of needs. You first needed to think about the financial aspect of things. Where are you going to sleep? Where are you going to eat? What are you going to eat? And those kinds of things. So now it seems like because you had some level of success, it's now immediately plunging you into some things that you haven't been able to necessarily pay attention to before. With Jupiter going retrograde into Pisces in your third house, this can bring back up unresolved issues pertaining to the past, pertaining to siblings, pertaining to childhood, pertaining to also what it is that you really want for yourself moving forward. And this can feel really murky and really deep and really muddy. It doesn't seem like the way forward is very clear at this point. We do have a new moon in Scorpio on the 25th, which is happening in your 11th house of hopes, dreams, wishes, and aspirations. It's in conjunction with Libra, so you're heavily considering somebody else when you're making these plans for yourself. It still doesn't seem very clear. There's not a lot that's aspecting this new moon. So it's not a time for taking action. It's a time for going deep and really asking some of the like more probing questions. What I want for you guys to do is ask yourself, like, what is it that I want? And then like answering that question superficially, and then asking that question again. Okay, what is it that I want? Okay, what is it that I want? Okay, what is it that I want? And you can also do this with why. This can be more helpful with why sometimes. Like, why do I want this? Okay, but why do I want that? Okay, but why do I want that? Okay, but why do I want that? And at the very base, you'll get like a very gold, not specific, but specific thing that you actually really, really want, which is, for some people, it's like, oh, well, I really, really want to help people, or it's, I really, really want to make a name for myself, or I really, really want to have something to pass on to the next generation. I really, really want. A lot of us at our core, we have really good motivations. But what is that motivation? I really, really want to be acknowledged. Well, why do I really, really want to be acknowledged? Well, why do I, if you get deeper and deeper and deeper with that, you'll start to gain clarity and gain power over what it is that you really, really want moving forward, and that can shape what that looks like and what your goals actually are. But you'll be understanding on a deeper level that clarity. But anyway, that's towards the end of the month, and even at the end of the month, I'm seeing that those desires are very murky, and there's a lot of work. There's a lot of things that need to be unpacked towards the end of the month. But for the majority of the month of October, I would say that you are having a lot of acknowledgement that you've worked really, really hard for. So that can feel really, really good. Okay, Aquarius, what is happening for you guys in this month of October? This is overall a good month for you guys. It looks like there's a lot of healing energy and recognition and success that you guys are getting in the department of the things that you're learning, and also your creative projects that you're wanting to bring forward. So the first 10 days of October, we do have Mercury going forward in Virgo, where Mercury was going retrograde in Virgo at the end of September. For you, this is your 8th house. This has to do with shared resources and transformations. And for you, what I'm hearing is that there is a lot to do that has to do with gathering your creative skills and learning how to apply them. It's also learning how to deepen, like how to prioritize what it is that you are wanting to learn more about. And there is a financial aspect to this. you guys a lot are wanting to use your creative skills to help other people and also to support yourself financially. So I do see that there is a full moon on the 9th in Aries. So Aries is your third house. This has to do with siblings, the childhood, and also sometimes transportation. So some of you may be experiencing the ending of something in the third house sector, and it can be a little bit, I'm hearing, sudden and kind of painful because it's Aries and because there's Chiron here. So this can be running out of vehicles or a mode of transportation. This can be something that feels rather final when it comes to siblings. Whatever it is for you, it does look like it's possibly freeing you up and allowing you to better make decisions for yourself moving forward. It's as if the sharpness and the fieriness of this Aries full moon is kind of burning away some of the clouds and giving you more clarity. So then we do have a couple aspects that are being made to your chart ruler Saturn, which is transiting through your second house right now, which is the house of, through your first house right now. So it does look like we do have, so we have the Sun in Libra trining Saturn in your first house, Aquarius, on the 11th. This is definitely somebody recognizing your perspective. They are seeing your, I would say, true colors. Like, they're seeing how you view the world, and there is a recognition of that, and I would say a respect of that. Then on the 17th, we have weird. Okay. So then on the 17th, we have Venus also trining Saturn in your first house. So this is a very creative day for you, is what I'm hearing. So there's a lot of creativity that you are having. This can be inspiration. This can be learning. You're also learning something here. So it's like you're taking your creative power and you're channeling it into being able to develop that. Then I have on the 22nd, I have Mercury transiting through your 9th house, in also a trine to Saturn. So this is ideas that you have that are going to help you move forward, but it's also, you may not see immediately how this applies to moving forward, but it's information. So pay attention to the information that you're like receiving on this day, because it can be really insightful and helpful. So maybe write it down. Then on the 22nd, which is the same day as this, then we have Venus going into a conjunction with the Sun in Libra in your 9th house. And then immediately on the 23rd, both the Sun and Venus move into Scorpio, which is your 10th house. So this is really exciting because this is a big, and then we have a new moon happening in Scorpio here on the 25th. So what's happening for you guys is that a lot of you are moving forward in the things that you've learned, and you're beginning to put those things out there. So these things are getting to be more visible to other people. Other people are beginning to see the things that you have worked for, like behind the scenes, the creative projects that you have put so much of yourself into and so much effort that you've put into those things. For some of you, I'm hearing it's not just you might not consider these things creative. They are creative, but they might be more socially focused. So like a lot of you Aquarius risings, especially with this being Libra here, is this, you're very focused on social justice and making social change. So it can also be pertaining to these topics. These topics are also creative. And we don't think of politics as creative. We don't think of the law as creative or social services as creative. There is a lot of creativity that's involved in these topics, like problem solving. Hello, Mercury is in Virgo, the sign of problem solving, for the first 10 days of this sign. So I am seeing a lot of forward motion for you guys, and especially towards the end, a lot of recognition of what you're doing. There is the new moon on the 25th is in Scorpio, and it's in conjunction with Venus. So I am seeing that, again, the things that you have been working on are being exposed and being seen. It can feel very healing. So it's like people are beginning to recognize you as a healer, but it can also feel challenging at the same time, because Scorpio is a sign of secrecy and a sign of a lot of the time it's the things that are unknown and the things that people don't understand. So I do want to just warn you that there may be a lot of people that don't understand, they misperceive, even though you're being kind of given the spotlight at this moment. It's like not everybody is going to understand why you're doing what you're doing, or how it's really being helpful, and that can be painful. So I just want to like prepare you for that, and just let you know that not everybody is going to see it the way that you see it, and that's okay. You don't need their validation. I know with Saturn going through your first house and Neptune going through your second house, it can feel really difficult to not receive that validation, because these are like challenging, these are parts of your life that are being challenged right now. It's kind of like I'm hearing you're being asked to like really believe in yourself and let that be enough. Pisces, what does the month of October have in store for you? Okay, so on the first day of October, we have an opposition between Jupiter in Aries and Venus in Libra. This can feel like you are being supported by somebody you're in a relationship with. This can be, you know, your mother, this can be your significant other, this can be a friend. But it does look like there is alignment and agreement that is happening for you, potentially with inheritance, shared resources of a financial nature, student loans, tax returns, mortgage, these types of things. There's an agreement here. It does look like things are coming into your piggy bank. Jupiter is transiting your second house of finances. So this is giving you either a confidence boost, an ego boost, or it's giving you a lump sum of money, which is nice. Then we have going forward, we have Mercury is going through your 7th house of relationships for the first 10 days. Mercury is going forward as opposed to retrograde, which is nice. So it seems like the issues that you have had in the last month pertaining to your relationships, though I wouldn't say it's been too much, because you have had Venus going through your house here. Things are going pretty smoothly for you in the relationship department, or at least you have the planets on your side when it comes to relationships. These things are starting to move forward. If you've had a relationship that's been under review mentally, it doesn't look like there's a relationship that's been openly under review, but mentally maybe it's been under review. Things are looking forward. Things are looking brighter. You're starting to move forward in this, and you're starting to see how other people are fitting into your life in a way that you didn't necessarily think that they could. It's kind of like you may feel with Virgo as your 7th house, you may feel a lot of the time, Pisces, that you have to do everything on your own, because Virgo is the sign of the hermit. And so it's like there's a lot of feeling where you feel like you need to do things for yourself. And I will say that you are seeing how your partner is actually in very practical ways able to help you out. Or if you don't have a significant other, there's also like other people, is what I'm trying to say, that can help you, and you should accept that help, is what I'm trying to say. So, okay, so also, this month, there is a focus on, for you, what needs to change, because there's a lot that's going through Libra, which is your 8th house of transformation. So there may be a focus for you on what needs to change in your life moving forward? What needs to be let go of? What needs to be the focus? I'm hearing a focus of energy. So it's like, where does your energy really need to be channeled into? That's a major question for you, especially as Jupiter is retrograding in the sign of Aries. So Aries is like very goal oriented, very driven. It's all about our vital energy. And so it's like, okay, where do I need to put that energy? This is the question for you for this month. Then at the end of the month, okay, so we have I'm so sorry, I almost skipped. On the 9th, we have a full moon in Aries. This is happening in your second house. There's a conjunction with Chiron here. Okay, Pisces. Very interesting message for you here. With this being in your second house, the message that I'm picking up on is that you're able to use pain as energy. You're able to use pain as a driving force. So it's almost like there is a agenda here to not heal from a past trauma or a past, maybe an anger, something you're angry about. It's like instead a good strategy for you here is to take that anger, take that energy, take that that hatred, that drive, that pain, whatever it be, and to channel it into something productive for yourself. So that's what I'm hearing for you guys for the full moon. I'll do a separate full moon video. Okay, so then towards the end of the month, what we have going on is we have Venus goes into a conjunction with the Sun in Libra at the last degree on the 22nd, and then on the 23rd, they hop together into Scorpio, and we start Scorpio season. What's happening for you guys here? I'm seeing you're applauding somebody in your life because it's like somebody that you love or admire is hopping and is sitting into taking authority for their own life. They're taking on like another responsibility, and it's something that you think is going to be really, really good for them. So I'm hearing that for some of you, this is something that you've like encouraged them to do in the past, and now they're doing it. So you may feel really proud of somebody at this point in your life. Okay, so then as we're entering into Scorpio season, it seems like they are jumping into the deep end, and you are right there and you're wanting to help them out. Okay. So then on the 25th, we have a new moon in Scorpio, which is happening in your 9th house. This new moon feels very spiritual for you guys. It can feel extremely esoteric, very taboo. It's all about the hidden knowledge and the secrecy. It looks like this can be a fun new moon for you. Maybe only a fun new moon for you. It seems like there's a lot of people that are going through it right now. For you, Pisces rising, this is like the stuff that you absolutely love because you're like, oh, I'm getting down and I'm getting into the meat of it. I'm getting into the deepness of it. I'm getting behind it. I'm getting, we're going deep. We're understanding ourselves more deeply here, and we're understanding other people more deeply here. We're understanding information here that is like mind-blowing. Okay, so this can be like a really, really cool new moon for you guys, especially with the conjunction here to Venus with this new moon. So this can feel very much like some of you may be starting a new mentorship is what I'm hearing. So it's like you're learning, but you're learning things one-on-one with another person. You're going forward in a way that you haven't gone forward before because you're not doing it alone this time. So there's somebody that's helping you along the way that is potentially, like I said, from the other side. So you're undergoing a mentorship here. It can seem like, because you're learning a lot. You're learning a lot, and it's a lot of things that might be exciting for you to share with other people, but maybe you don't necessarily need to share it with other people because it's kind of confidential. It's kind of taboo. It's not information that everybody's going to understand. Okay, Pisces. Also, for some of you, this new moon is going to feel like there's nothing happening at this point, but you're being prepared for something in the future. I will say that too. Okay, so then towards the end of the month on the 29th, we have Jupiter moving into Pisces. So Jupiter was in Pisces earlier this year and last year. So if you look back and see what was going on for you at the dates, Let me look the dates up for you. So I'm just going to read these dates for you guys. Jupiter is in Pisces. So Jupiter was in Pisces May 13th to July 28th of 2021. Then went retrograde in Aquarius and then came back in into Pisces December 28th of 2021 to May 10th of 2022. So from May of this year until the 29th of October, Jupiter has been in Aries, and then Jupiter is going back now into Pisces and will be in Pisces until the 20th of December of this year, 2022. So look back on those dates and see what was happening to you at that time, especially as pertaining to, I'm hearing enlightenment, because Jupiter going through your first house is really expanding your own Pisces rising nature. So it's an important time to, I would say, spend time alone and working on your own psychic connection and your own psychic abilities, Pisces rising, because you do have this ability and you do need a lot of alone time in order to develop it, in order to receive the incoming messages. I'm being told to remind you guys about your sensitivity to other people's energy. So you are very sensitive to other people's energy and you can pick up on the subtle energies, and you do need to pay attention to the subtle energies, which basically when you're around other people, their energy is very, very loud and it can sort of override your own because your own energy center is very permeable. So you need to spend a lot of time alone during this Jupiter in Pisces retrograde, which again is from the 29th of October to the 20th of December of 2022. Yes, this is important. You will not get this chance again for another 12 years. Make sure to spend time doing this work alone. This is also a time where a lot of you will feel more empowered. You're being told about, from the other side, you're being told about your own inner power and your own inner authority. Jupiter is the king, so the king, of course, has to do with authority and power. And so to have this go through your first house, a lot of you are going to step into the seat of your own authority in a way that you haven't in the past. This is really hard for Pisces rising to do in general, just because Pisces is so agreeable and so permeable to other people's perspectives. So really, really important for you, you guys, going forward with this Jupiter in Pisces retrograde.